So the fight for attention continues when it comes to virtual training events and workshops and programs and webinars, because people have got overconfident in thinking that they can multitask during these sessions as participants, like playing with their cat, doing emails. And I think it's because when Teams and Zoom first came out and it was a novelty to a lot of people, I think they felt that that was so involving that they were fully present. Whereas now we live on Teams meetings and Zoom meetings. So being in a workshop as a participant when you're on Teams doesn't feel like a big deal. And so I think people feel that they can multitask. So it's really important that we're designing our events in the virtual world to be super interactive, with purpose, of course. And one way of doing that is to build micro interaction cycles into your sessions. It's a fancy word for something that's actually really very, very simple. Internally, we generally refer to it as the 1, 2, 3, 4 process. So the idea is we can do these regularly throughout our sessions to get people having a conversation and getting involved without it being us doing all the direction. So the step number 1 of the micro interaction cycles is to decide ahead of time what your question is, and I recommend you do think about this ahead of time. In the pressure of doing your delivery, it's hard to think of a killer question, like that perfect question that's going to really get people thinking at a deep level. When you've decided on what that question is, put it on a slide so it's really visual and really clear, which is especially helpful if you've got people who are working in what is not their first language. Having that clarity of the question is really helpful. Next, what we do is we direct the group on how to respond to that question. So once they've thought about it, do you want them to put a word in the chat, share an emoji in the chat box, answer a poll, raise their hand to answer? Do you want a sentence, a word, a number? What is it that you want from them? And then that's the second step. So you tell them what to do. Now, what's really important is just give them one choice. In most cases, if you give too many choices, people don't know exactly what to do and then they won't interact. Whereas if you're really clear, put your number in the chat box, you're probably going to get a load of numbers, and then you can deal with them, which is step 3. So think ahead in advance. What are you going to do with those numbers? So I might say, Simon, that's great. You've got a 4 that you've scored yourself on that. For example, how confident do you feel from 1 to 10 about X? Simon's like, oh, I've got a 4. Now I could say, do you want to tell me some more about that 4, Simon? But I might be thinking, if it's quite low, he might feel quite exposed to share that. So instead, I might just say to Simon, have you got any thoughts on what would need to happen or what it would look like if you went from a 4 to a 5? Or if you're a 7, how would you get to a 7.5? So we're thinking about how we're going to evolve the question once people have responded. And then once we've heard from them, step 4 is to pass the baton and just say, hey Simon, who would you like to hear from next? Look at the chat, look at the numbers, who intrigues you to share a little bit more about their numbers. So that's not coming from us, and usually, especially when groups know each other quite well, they know to really pull in the quieter people and sometimes even push out the noisier people as well. And that's it, you're moving the conversation round, but they're doing a lot of their own direction. Give it a go, let us know what you think, and pop your messages into the comments.